Hello everyone, today we'll be seeing how fast Golem can beat Pokemon Red in a solo run challenge. Let's get straight into the video. For this week, we'll be doing Pokemon Red with Golem and then Rhydon later in the week via a live stream. Starting this week, I'm no longer going to be doing 2 videos a week because it was just too much work on my end and it was just mentally draining. So the second video will just be a live stream instead of 2 playthroughs, so I hope you end up enjoying it. But anyway, we're playing with Golem today. We have 80 HP, 110 attack, 130 defense, 55 special, and 45 speed. 45 speed is very slow, which could be a problem for some fast Pokemon, like Misty's entire team and Lance's Gyarados. But 110 attack is going to be quite awesome to work with. And as we go through Route 1 doing the Professor Oak parcel stuff, if you look at our moveset, we start with Tackle and Defense Curl. And at level 16 we get Rock Throw, one of the worst moves in Generation 1, because for some reason they made the move 65% accurate, which makes no sense. And then at 21 we get Self-Destruct, which is useless in a solo run. Then we get Harden, which is a Defense Curl clone. And then we get Earthquake at level 36, and then Explosion at level 43, which I said with Self-Destruct, Explosion is also useless. And I'm pretty sure we're going to have Earthquake via TM before we end up getting it by level up. Plus, we have the TM for Dig as well, and Dig is the same base power and PP as Earthquake. So honestly, our level up moveset really isn't that good. At least we get Defense Curl for badge boosting. And as I continue to train in the early game, you notice I'm having to fight a lot of the trainers plus a bunch of wild Pokemon. I even ended up fighting the optional rival. The reason I'm doing all this is because I'm going to have to take on Brock using only Tackle. You may think it might be a good idea to just train to level 16 to get Rock Throw, but that's going to be a horrible idea. Brock's Pokemon resists the move anyway, and the accuracy is just so bad, I'm better off just using Tackle. We still have a bit of training left to go, so as I continue fighting these Weedle, I'm going to go over our TM set. We actually get a decent selection. We get the usual normal moves, Mega Punch, Mega Kick, and Body Slam, and then we get all the fighting type TMs, just in case we hate ourselves, and then we get Earthquake, Fissure, and Dig. Fissure could have a niche use, but the problem is our speed is just so bad, we're probably never going to end up using it. And besides, it's honestly just a worst case scenario type of move. And we also get Rock Slide, which is a way better rock move than Rock Throw, and it's the only other rock move in the game. And for some reason, this Pokemon gets Fire Blast. I don't know why a lot of Pokemon in Gen 1 really get Fire Blast when they really should not be getting this move. It's quite strange to me. Anyway, in Brock's gym, I defeat the Light Years Junior trainer, and I knock out his Sandshrew to get to level 15. 1 level away from Rock Throw, but like I said, we are not going to need this move for Brock. So at the damage rounding threshold, we're going to go take on the first gym leader, Brock. Brock leads off with his level 12 Geodude, and the main plan is to just spam Tackle, trying to get rid of it as quick as I can. I get really lucky on the first turn, and I end up getting a crit, although I end up missing a Tackle to make up for that good luck. But that's fine though, I'll eventually knock out the Geodude, and then the main plan for the Onix is if it uses Bide, I can just use Defense Curl to just raise my defense during the Bides. And when it gets to near the end of the fight, it's not really worth it to spam Defense Curl during Bide, because my Tackles are doing like 2 damage at most to the Onix, so if I just attack into the Bide, he isn't really going to do that much damage to me. But still, the fight is going to be nice and slow, just as I'm sure you predicted. However though, there is a phrase, slow and steady wins the race. At 9 HP left, I'm able to defeat the Onix, level up to level 16, learn Rock Throw, and now we have defeated the first gym. Now I'm going to train on the Route 3 trainers. I'm still scared for the next gym coming up, which is Misty. Her Starmie has 56 speed, and it has Water Gun and Bubble Beam. Plus Misty has good AI, so she will always be using water moves, unless she randomly decides to use an X-Defend, which she sometimes can do. So I not only do the mandatory trainers on Route 3, I even do a bunch of optional trainers in Mount Moon. Plus, if I encounter any Zubats or anything I can easily defeat, I'm going to go ahead and knock those out for some extra experience. However though, we're not going to have to rely on horrible moves for much longer, because in Mount Moon we can get TM1, which is Mega Punch. This is going to be our main damaging move for a decent chunk of the early game. Plus fortunately, right after I got Mega Punch, I end up encountering the Paris, so I can go ahead and catch that for Cut and Dig later. Well, not really Dig, because I plan to teach that for Golem, but I'll teach it Cut at least. And now that Mount Moon is behind us, we arrive into Cerulean City. We obviously do not need to ask the age-old question of, should we do Misty or Rival 2 first? I feel like it should be obvious to anyone with half a brain. We really should go fight Rival 2 first. Also, you saw me wandering in the grass there. I forgot to catch a Pidgey on Route 3, so I had to catch a Spearow for Fly. Oops. Anyway, on Rival 2, he leads with Pidgeotto. I'm level 20 for this fight. The Pidgeotto outspeeds me by 2, and it's able to get off 1 sand attack. So now we're already at a pretty dang bad start. But fortunately, he sends out Abra, which I can knock out for free. I keep trying to use Mega Punch on the Rattata. I missed twice, but the third one hits. Then on the Charmander, I hit the first Mega Punch, and the rival's defeated. Alright, the 1 sand attack. Didn't really provide any issues, which normally never happens. The Route 24 and 25 trainers go on pretty much normally. Like, there weren't really any problematic trainers. There is a TM I could have gotten here, which was Seismic Toss, which I can learn. But Seismic Toss has very niche uses in Generation 1. Usually the only Pokemon that need Seismic Toss are Pokemon with very bad attack stats, or have no way of hitting the ghosts in Lavender Tower. Hitmonlee is a great example of this. Without Seismic Toss, Hitmonlee would need to use Bide in order to knock out the ghosts. Obviously, Golem is going to have solutions for those ghosts, so there's no need to get it. Plus, once Route 24 and 25 is over, I can go ahead and defeat the Innocent Bystander and get myself the TM for Dig. This is pretty much going to be my most powerful move. Even when I get Earthquake, it's still the same power as Dig. Like, that just shows you how broken Dig is in Generation 1. Plus, when I'm teaching Dig, I have 39 speed. The Staryu on Misty's team has 38 speed. I'm never going to outspeed the Starmie, but I can outspeed the Staryu at least for a little bit more consistency. So why don't we go ahead and take on the Water-type specialist, Misty. Misty leads off with her Staryu. It has 38 speed. I go ahead and use Dig. She uses X Defend when I'm underground, but it doesn't matter. Then the Starmie, it hits me with Water Gun, doing a decent chunk of damage. Fortunately, it wasn't a crit, and then as soon as I come back from underground, the Dig ends up one-shotting. I don't know if that was arranged to be a one-shot, because I had a feeling that it should have survived. But here's the thing, 110 attack with an effective power of a 150 attack, I think it's safe to assume that it'll probably one-shot almost every time. Now with Misty defeated, I can head my way down to Vermilion City and enter the SS Anne. I am going to get the Body Slam TM here, which is going to be a massive upgrade over Mega Punch. I also go ahead and get the Gentleman Rare Candy on the SS Anne. I probably did not need this because Golem is in the medium slow experience group, so in the early game I'm going to be gaining a ton of levels, but I was mainly trying to play safe with Golem just because of Lance's Gyarados. I mean, later in the week when we do Rhydon is in the slow level up group, so Rhydon is going to need those rare candies more, to be honest. And during that whole explanation, I completely destroy Rival 3, and now we gotta go take on Lieutenant Surge. This isn't going to be funny, it's just going to be straight up turmoil for him, but just for the length of the video's sake, let's go ahead and play his intro. Voltorb, one shot with Body Slam. Pikachu, one shot with Body Slam. Raichu, one shot with Dig. I don't think Body Slam would have one-shotted, but as soon as I defeat the Raichu, I get the chance to learn Harden and say no. The only difference in Gen 1 between Defense Curl and Harden is literally 10 power points. Harden has 30 power points while Defense Curl has 40. Then in the Pokemon Fan Club, I can get myself the bike voucher, dig back to Cerulean City, get the bike, and now we gotta do the Route 9 Rock Tunnel Gauntlet of Trainers. With Body Slam and Dig as my main attacking moves, I have an answer to pretty much everything in this part of the game, and I don't have any resets or struggle with any of these trainers, and then we can fade our way towards Celadon City. Then in the Celadon department store, I go ahead and buy 8 super repels. Then on the top of the department store, I give this girl a soda pop to get myself a rock slide TM. And then I can head down to the 5th floor and grab 1 vitamin. And today's vitamin of the day is just a singular Carbos. I'm not really sure if it was worth it because of how bad our speed is, but we honestly could use all the speed we can get. Because if we can outspeed Lance's Gyarados, which has a speed stat of 108, this will make the run a lot easier. But now that I think about it, if I had just delayed those shopping until later, I probably could have gotten more Carbos. But at least there's a bunch of Carbos in the overworld I can pick up, such as one in the Safari Zone and one in the Pokemon Mansion. Then, in Pokemon Tower, I completely destroy the rival, give the Marowak Ghost a Pokédoll, and then I can rescue Mr. Fuji and get the Pokeflute. So now, the world is our cloister. We can go pretty much anywhere we want. We can either go do Erica, Koga, or Rival 5. Doing Koga first would give us a 12.5% boost to our speed stat, especially when we do the badge boost glitch. And Erica is sort of a monster in red and blue if you're weak to grass moves. So I think it's a good idea not to do Erica right away. But I am in Celadon City and I am going to go into the Rocket Hideout first. Plus I can get some other high money items, including a rare candy. Because I do actually plan to do a second vitamin buy later to get more Carbos. Because if I have a possibility of outspeeding the Gyarados on Lance's team, it'll make the run so much better. Although this was probably playing it a little too safe. Because after I go through the hideout and get all of the TMs and nuggets and stuff and then sell them, I just go and buy 3 calcium. I have no idea what I was thinking here. Because here's the thing, his Gyarados is going to one-shot me no matter what. I really should have invested that in Carbos. Like, that was a horrible idea. Honestly, maybe later in the week when I do a ride-on stream, I should probably redo Golem because I feel like I played this Golem run just a little bit too safe. And I feel like its time suffered because of it. But we'll see. And although I truly believe fighting Koga is the best way to move forward, I actually go to Sylph and I start doing a bunch of the trainers in here for training. I do not think this is the right play. I think what I should have done was go to Fuchsia, then defeat the trainers in Koga's gym, and then I can get the badge boost to my speed, allowing me to potentially outspeed the rivals Pidgeot and Gyarados here. But after I fight a bunch of the trainers in Silphco, I get to Rival 5 at level 41. So let's see how this goes, I guess. I have 65 speed and the Pidgeot has 78. I use 1 defense curl as he lands a sand attack. So then when I defeat the Pidgeot, I can knock out the Execute, although I am paralyzed. Theoretically, at this point, I could do the Dig Paralysis glitch to prevent me from ever being attacked because I happen to get paralyzed. But that doesn't end up working through. The Gyarados is just going to outspeed and hit me with Hydro Pump. You know, it really does hurt me to rewatch this run, because here's the thing. If I had just beaten Koga, I would have gotten the 12.5% boost to my speed, and I would definitely, for sure, outspeed the Pidgeot, as well as the Gyarados. I mean, that Gyarados outspeeds me by 2 speed points, and I keep getting knocked out because of it. This is literally hurting me to watch and comment over right now. And you know what I do? I leave and just go fight random trainers in Sylph to get to 43. I mean, at least I outspeed the Gyarados now, but I still don't outspeed the Pidgeot, allowing me to potentially get hit with Sand Attack. Then on the Alakazam, once I eventually defeat the Gyarados, it does outspeed, but there's not really much it can do. Same with the Charizard, they both outspeed. Even with Koga's badge, they would have outsped anyway. But yeah, what I really should have done was do Koga, then the Sylph training. Like, I could have saved myself a couple of resets because of that. Anyway, once the rival's defeated, I destroy Giovanni, and then I choose to fight Erica? Why am I fighting Erica over Koga? Like, I guess I was just scared of his psychic trainers, but there's literally no reason to. Well, we'll see if Erica ends up getting a win over me because of this massive misplay. Let's take a look. Erica leads off with Victory Bell. I'm level 45 for this fight. I go ahead and use Dig, and I one-shot. Then on the Tangela, I use Rock Slide. It one-shots. I get to level 46. Then on the Vileplume, I use Dig, and it one-shots. Alright, so even though I really shouldn't have fought Erica first, she really wasn't any issue at all, so I guess that part of the plan really didn't matter either way. And now with Erica defeated, I can head on down through Cycling Road, enter Fuchsia City, clear out the Safari Zone, and go take on our next gym leader, Koga. Oh, also, just before I fade to Koga, I just realized before I went down to the Safari Zone, I actually did get some vitamins. I did a third vitamin buy, where I chose to buy 2 calcium and 2 carbos. I played this run way too damn safe. Getting those calciums was 100% useless. All I should have done was just get carbos, maybe some protein. But yeah, calcium was definitely a bad play. Anyway, let's go take on Koga. Koga leads off with his coughing. I go ahead and use Dig for the one-shot. Then on the Muck, I'm going to use Dig for the one-shot. Fortunately, he did not use Minimize. Then on the coughing, I Dig for the one-shot. And will I one-shot the Wheezing? Yes, I do. It would have been really funny if he blew himself up underground. That would have been hilarious. But yeah, Koga's Pokemon are quite slow, which is kind of ironic because his badge gives the 12.5% boost to our speed stat. So now that we have access to 5 gym badges, I can go ahead and get the HM for strength and immediately go fight Sabrina. No need for the intro this time because I don't want to play the intros too many times for you. I somewhat care. On the Kadabra, I go ahead and use Body Slam for the one-shot. It outsped me by a couple of speed points. Didn't really matter though, honestly. Because here's the thing, I can also one-shot the Mr. Mime, the Venomoth, and the Alakazam was going to outspeed no matter what. But I used Dig on it, and it used Reflect when I was underground, which caused it to actually survive a Dig. So honestly, I probably should have just used 2 Body Slams. But then again, she only had a 1 in 4 chance of Reflect anyway. And let's continue this gym leader spree. Let's see how Blaine goes. Blaine is a straight up pathetic trainer in Red and Blue. And it definitely shows with how this fight goes. His Growlithe is a one-shot with Dig. His Ponyta is a one-shot with Dig. His Rapidash does outspeed, but all it does is use a Tail Whip, badge boosting my attack. Then on the Arcanine, I outspeed it all because of the badge boost the Rapidash gave with Tail Whip. So literally the Rapidash using Tail Whip made the fight easier for me, which is kind of funny. And now we're at 7 badges. We're going to continue this rush and go fight the 8th gym leader, Giovanni. Let's keep doing this. Let's keep rolling with it. Giovanni leads off with his Rhyhorn. I go ahead and use Dig for the 1 kill. Then on the Dugtrio, it outspeeds and uses its own Dig, and because I knew it would outspeed, I used Body Slam on it. Then I misclick and use Body Slam on the Nidoqueen for the 2-shot, when Dig would have been a 1-shot. Fortunately, I learned my lesson with Nidoking, and then on the Rhydon, it's only going to spam Fissure because of his good AI, and it'll never hit because of how slow he is. So I can easily knock him out, and now we have all 8 gym badges. We also get the TM for Fissure from this guy, but it's not really going to be that useful. It'd be a lot more useful if Fissure could hit flying types though, because for a lot of rock type Pokemon, if they had a one-hit KO move that could hit flying types like Gyarados, then it would actually make Lance somewhat tolerable. But that's neither here nor there. Now we need to take on Rival 6 just before we get into the Pokemon League. I'm level 52 for this fight, and honestly one mistake I made is I really should have deleted Dig off of my moveset. Either that or delete Body Slam, because what I could have done was just mimic Agility to guarantee the outspeed on his entire team. But I just used 1 Defense Curl to just badge boost my speed just a little bit, hoping to keep my speed badge boost intact for when the Gyarados comes out, which it does. Okay, I think I would have outsped anyway, but I level up before the Alakazam, and my speed stat goes down to 100. So yeah, that was definitely some poor level up planning, and because of that, the Alakazam's able to hit me with a Psychic move, and it's able to hurt me really bad. Then the Charizard comes out, and he's gonna finish me off, except he decides to use Leer. I do not hit myself in confusion, and then I can one-shot it with Rock Slide. So yeah, the rival really threw the fight at the last minute. His Charizard had the power to end me, but he didn't. Then I go ahead and fly to the power plant and get the rare candy here. Okay, that was completely unnecessary. Here's the thing, that rare candy is the most out of the way, isolated rare candy in the entire game. With how long it takes to get that TM for a lot of Pokemon, you're usually better off fighting some trainers in Victory Road than getting that rare candy. So honestly, I really should not have gotten that candy, but I was really trying to be safe. That's what I was going for. And what makes it even more irritating is that in Victory Road, I also get this rare candy too. I mean, I was trying to play overly safe. I really should not have played this safe. I was definitely being way too conservative with how I was doing this run. I should have been a lot more outgoing and just take some risks here and there. But this is a first playthrough. I was really trying to avoid needing a second, but I may just have to do a second. And I do defeat one trainer in this Victory Road to get to level 54, and then I can use all 12 of my rare candies to get to level 66. This is definitely a very extremely high level, but on the bright side, at level 66, without badge boosts, I am able to outspeed Lance's Gyarados. So why don't we go ahead and fight the final 5 trainers and see how this goes for Golem. Let's do this shit. Lorelei leads off with her Dewgong. I have 123 speed for this fight. I go ahead and use a couple of defense curls, and then I go ahead and knock out the Dewgong with Rock Slide. Then on the Cloyster, I go ahead and use Dig on it, and it lives in red health. That was a mistake. I should have gone for Rock Slide. Rock Slide would have done more damage. Then on the Slowbro, I go ahead and use a Body Slam into a Rock Slide. This thing's only water moves are Withdraw and Water Gun. It still could have done some serious damage, but fortunately all she did was just use a Withdraw. Then on the Lapras, I actually get a crit on it with how bad my speed is, and I one-shot the Lapras anyway. Alright, next up is the second Elite Four member, the Hiker. The Hiker is going to be so easy, I pretty much don't even heal for this fight. Dig is going to one-shot his Onix, his Hitmonchan, his Hitmonlee, his second Onix, and his Machamp is most likely going to survive a single hit of Dig, which it tends to usually survive hits. Although I choose to use Body Slam on it for some reason, and it does half, but all he does is use a Leer. Quite pathetic. Next up is the Ghost-type Elite Four member, Agatha. Agatha is probably going to be easier than the Hiker was, because even though some of our Pokemon outspeed, all of our Pokemon are going to be one-shots with either Dig or Rock Slide. And honestly, I really do regret not teaching Earthquake at this point, because once you dig out of Blaine's gym, there is no reason to continue having Dig on your main Pokemon, so I really should have deleted it for Earthquake. And I mean, they are the same base power, but the point is, Earthquake is faster, so I should have done it. Either that or just skip getting the TM entirely. Anyway though, next up is the Dragon-type Elite Four member Lance. This run was just preparing for that Gyarados. Speak of the devil, here is the Gyarados. I go ahead and use Rock Slide after I outspeed, and I one-shot. Okay, that's what I was preparing for. Then I can use Dig on his 2 Dragonairs, and then after his 2 Dragonairs are done, he sends out his Aerodactyl which outspeeds, but it only has normal moves. It does miss Supersonic, which is honestly the best normal type move it could have used, but fortunately it didn't hit, and then I can one-shot it and the Dragonite with Rock Slide. Alright, we're nearing the end. We're about to fight the champion. Let's finish this run once and for all. Oh, now I teach Earthquake over Dig. Honestly, there was no point in doing it this late into the run. Anyway, on the Pidgeot, it doesn't have Sand Attack, but I decided to just use Rock Slide on it to knock it out anyway. Because here's the reason. I can knock out the Pidgeot, and then I can knock out the Alakazam with Earthquake, although it lives thanks to Reflect. But the reason I didn't set up is because I leveled up right before the Rhydon, so now I can just spam Defense Curl, and as I keep using Defense Curl, he can use his own Tail Whip to lower my defense, which honestly creates a chain scenario for infinite badge boosts. And look at this, I get to +6, I have 999 defense, 725 attack, and 416 speed. I just turned this thing into an absolute fucking truck. Like, this thing can't stop with anything, nothing gets in its way, and Golem clocks in with a time of 1 hour, 7 minutes, and 58 seconds, with 2 resets at level 69, and a game time of 3 hours and 19 minutes. Yeah, I can definitely agree, I played this run way too conservatively. I really should have skipped a few of those rare candies, like the one in the Rocket Hideout and the Power Plant, and I should have just done Koga before I did Sylph. Like, I think the proper mid-game ordering I should have done after the Flute was go to Koga, fight his gym trainers, and then Koga himself. Then I can defeat Erica, because I'll outspeed and one-shot our whole team with Dig. And then I can go into Sylph. That way, my speed will be high enough to actually outspeed everything, even the Pidgeot. So there would have been little to no risk at that guy. So that is something I should have done. But right now on the leaderboard, Golem is in 8th place overall. You see Golem has a time of 50 minutes and 59 seconds. I actually started doing my runs on 4 times speed, and this run was recorded at 3 times speed, so I had to convert the time. So this thing got in a time basically like 12 seconds slower than Chansey, but slightly faster than Tauros. The reason it's kind of funny this thing couldn't even beat Chansey, Chansey had an extremely lucky god tier Brock fight. I believe I was supposed to blackout train on Brock until I win, and I won on the 3rd try or something with Double Slap, which was insane. But once this thing eventually gets a re-rank, Golem can definitely be faster than Chansey, probably not Charizard though. But I can see this thing getting like a 47-48 minute time. But we'll see, Red and Blue is a very easy game. I still need to perfect my play with Red and Blue, because I do a lot of those backboards in Blue version, so I should be playing better. But anyway, that's enough rambling. Thank you all for watching, everyone. Please like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more, and be sure to follow me on my socials or support me through YouTube memberships. YouTube members get access to these videos around a week or so early, and access to the patch files to all the backports we do on stream. On Friday, on a live stream, we are going to be doing Pokemon Red with Rhydon, and then later in the week, we'll also be doing a live stream of Pokemon Red with another Pokemon. It'll be interesting. I'm going to try and change up how I do the videos and streams. I'm moving down to 1 video a week, then the second Pokemon that would have been the second video will be done as a live stream, and then I'll do a bonus 3rd solo run for that week. I don't know what it's going to be, but I'm sure it'll be a fun run, unless it's like Weedle or something, which I'm not going to do. Anyway, I will see you all in the next video.